if I'm a fan today, and mostly if I'm a young fan, I will start to look, okay, how can I really get the reward for all this time that I'm giving, when time actually is scarce, right? So when I can do so much things with my time. And this is, I think, is one still of the massive issues that we still have on the traditional sports industry, is how can we misunderstand still that, we need to give much more to the users, right? And I think you mentioned as well the gaming industry and the models, and I really believe that will be a massive influence for the traditional sports industry, because I really believe that microtransactions, micro subscriptions will be much more the key. That digital, micro transactions, on pay-per-view also will be, essential. And then actually advertising will be becoming a much more robust tool, where people potentially, I believe, will come to a point where people actually will exchange, data, for the content they want to consume and to use, and that data can be actually a transactional item.
Branded content is way up over this period, 41% up on Facebook, 122% up on Instagram. And I think it does so because I think sponsors increasingly are looking for that digital inventory that they can target at their audience. And it's a perfect combination of using the emotional pull of sports IP with the ability to target audiences, means that that's one of the reasons why branded content works. But I think generally you've got to look at this period as accelerating a lot of different trends. And one of the trends that I'd say is that you need to be where your audience is, where the audience you want is consuming content, whether that be on Twitch or on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever. So I think when you look at the way those rights packages are constructed, you have to think about the future of your sport, of your brand, and how you're looking towards that next audience coming on. And if a young audience is only on digital free-to-air media, then you have to make that part of your game.
For a traditional sports organization, you need to have a gaming strategy, because you need to have a game. And the games are actually the big profit part of this crisis, right? Gaming has exploded. Growing 20% of this times in games is you're really shitty. Right, most of those companies have grown 100, 200, 300. We do amateur tournaments. Those have grown 5x compared to 1 year ago. The viewership for esports tournament, and that's not on the back of traditional sports, but has grown 3x compared to 1 year ago. So gaming is a big beneficiary of this. And every traditional sport, and Lewis and me have spent some time in this past role on this, have this big opportunity to create purposeful competitions.
There's a misperception of the value of the on-site activation for the overall investments that the sponsors are making. I mean, regardless of the size of the event, no matter how big it is, the vast majority of fans and consumers that are interacting with that content are not on site. So the mentality for the larger brands has always been, let's focus on everybody else, and that's the importance of the content that we can acquire in our partnerships. Of course, it is very important to have proper execution and a great live event experience, because that drives the depth of the relationship of fans with brands and events. But just from a number standpoint, the out of venue audience has always been very important. So in that context, the work hasn't changed a lot. And even if we have to move forward with fewer people or no people in venues, we can still deliver what we have always planned to deliver.